Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. In this video I'm going to be showing you how to cut and overlap with opening at the back of your straight cut skirt or gown, whichever one you want to sew it with. So if you have not subscribed, please go ahead and subscribe and turn on the notification bell so you can be notified when I post my next video. So the measurement I'll be working with is 26 inches. I'll be adding extra 3 inches for my folding because I'll be using my lining to turn it. So I'm adding extra 3 inches so that I can be able to fold it in with my lining. So I've gone ahead to mark my full length. I'm going to mark my hip line, which is 8 inches. So your hip line depends on yours. So mine is 8 inches. And then I'll go ahead and make a straight line. So guys, the front part of this skirt is what I'm measuring out now, and I'm going to be using it to cut out the back part. So you're going to be cutting the front of your skirt first before the back. So my waist measurement I'm working with is 31 inches. So I'll be measuring it, which is 7 3/4, or you can call it 7.5, 2 lines. That's what I call mine sometimes. For those who are beginners and will not understand what is 7 3/4, so you just measure it 7.5 with 2 lines, and then I'll add my extra 2 inches sewing allowance. Then I'll head over to my hip line and measure my hip, which is 38 inches. That's 9.5. So I'll measure it and then I'll go ahead and add up my 2 inches sewing allowance. So the next thing I'm going to be doing, I'm going to be measuring what I have at my hip line, the measurement from the center of my folding to the end of my measurement. I'm going to minus it 1 inch. Then I'll be using it to measure the down part of my skirt. This is because I don't want it to be too fitted. If you want yours to be too fitted, you can remove 1.5 or 2 inches from what you got at your hip line and then measure it at the down part. That is if you want yours to be pencil. I don't want mine to be pencil. That's why I minused just 1 inch. Then I'll go ahead and use my ruler to join the lines and then I'll cut it out. So guys, after cutting out my front part, the next thing I'm going to be cutting out is the back part of this skirt. I'm going to go ahead and fold my fabric into two. You can see how I folded it, and then I'll be marking my full length again, which is 26 plus 3 inches, and that will be 29 inches. I'll mark it out and make a straight line. So guys, the next I'm going to be measuring from the center of my fold, I'm going to be measuring 5 inches inside. So from the center of my fold, I'm going to be measuring 5 inches. Please, when you fold your fabric for the back part of your skirt or gown, you're going to make sure that what you have will be able to contain your front measurement and the 5 inches you're going to be adding as extra, and that will be for the overlap. Please, the 5 inches is not a must that or compulsory. You can make yours 4 or 3 inches depending on how deep you want your overlap to be. So I want mine to be deep enough, so that's why I'm using 5 inches. So I'll connect with my ruler and then I'll place my front measurement, that's the front part of my skirt. I'm going to be placing it exactly on the 5 inches line that I made earlier. I'm going to be placing it exactly there. Then the next thing, I'm going to measure the length of my overlap from the down part of your skirt to where you want it to be. So I want mine to be 7 inches. So I'm going to be adding the folding allowance, which is 3 inches that we added, that we're going to be using our lining to fold inside. So I'm going to be adding it to the 7 inches, which will make it 10 inches. I'll mark it. And the next thing, I'm going to be measuring my zip allowance. my zip allowance is going to be from the center of your front part, from that 5 inches you placed it earlier. You're going to be measuring 1 inch backwards. You can see the way I'm doing it. From the center of your center front, I'm going to be measuring 1 inch backwards. You can also make yours 1.5, but I'm making my 1 inch, and that will be my zip allowance. So I'm going to be connecting it with a ruler. You can see how I'm doing it. So guys, I'm actually making a gown with this, but I just want to show you guys how to make this overlap for your skirt or for your gown. So the next thing I'm going to be doing is to measure where the curve for my overlap is going to start from the 10 inches we measured earlier. So I'm going to be measuring 2 inches upwards, 2 inches from the 10 inches, and then I'll make a curve like an armhole curve from the 2 inches to the edge of my fabric, to the center of my fabric. You can see the way I'm cutting it. I hope you understand. So guys, that's all for the measurement of the back part. I'll go ahead right now and cut it out. So guys, after cutting it out, the next thing you're going to do is to open the down part of your back, which is still on fold. So I've opened it, and that's all for the cutting part. So guys, I've gone ahead to cut my lining. Remember, when cutting your lining, you have to remove the 3 inches we added earlier to the main length of your measurement. So you're going to be removing the 3 inches. So you will no longer be removing 3 inches. When you place your fabric on your lining, you're going to be minusing 4 inches. This is because when you fold it in, your lining will fold 2 inches, and then it will add extra 1 inch to your main measurement. So when you add 4 inches, it's going to fold in exactly 3 inches. So I'll place it first at the down part of my skirt, and I will go ahead and sew. So guys, I'm done sewing it to the down part of my skirt. Remember, that's the first part you are going to be sewing. Then the next thing I'm going to do, I'll push it up this way. You can see the way I'm doing it. You make sure the lining aligns with your curve and with the upper part of your skirt. Then I'll go ahead and pin it down with a pin. Please guys, you can see how I'm doing it. Make sure you're doing yours this way also. I'll also go ahead and do the same thing for the other part of my skirt. So guys, after pinning it down, I'll go ahead and stitch it in my machine all the way around the whole side that I pinned, both the cuff side and the down part. I'll go ahead and stitch it, and I've also done the same thing for the other side. Then make sure you notch it. After sewing it, notch it, especially the zip part, which is the overlap side. Make sure you notch it very well. Then I'll go ahead and notch it. This is to make it smooth and look cool when you turn it and iron it out. So guys, I'm done notching it, so I'm turning it out. After turning it out, the next thing I'm going to be doing is to give it a good press. Make sure you iron it to smoothen it out. So that's the next thing I'm going to do now. So guys, I'm done ironing out the back part of my skirt, and this is what it looks like. The next thing I'm going to be doing is to place them side by side, that is front part facing each other. So guys, I'm going to go ahead and align it equally and smoothen it out. This is to make sure that when I sew my overlap, there won't be one side longer than the other. So make sure you smoothen it out. So the next I'm going to be doing is to mark out the 1 inch zip allowance that I added earlier. I'm going to mark it from the up part of my skirt, from the top part of my skirt to the side of the curve. so you can see where I'm measuring it. I'm going to measure it out, then I will connect it with my ruler. After measuring out my zip allowance, the next thing I'm going to measure is the length of my zip, where my zip is going to end. I measured mine at 7 inches. That's where I want mine to end. I don't want it to get my hip line. So I'll go ahead and draw a curve to the curve part of the back side, the side of the overlap. You can see the way I curved it. Make sure it's not up to 1 inch at the curve part, just half inch, then you connect it to the 1 inch. Then I've gone ahead to sew it, and this is what it looks like. So guys, I'm done sewing it. So this is it. The next thing I'm going to be doing is to measure out my dart from the zip allowance that I marked earlier. I'm going to measure out my nipple to nipple, which is 3.5 inches. That is 7 divided by 2. So I'm going to mark it, and then I'll mark the length of my dart, which is 4.5. I'll connect it. Then from the waist of my skirt, I'm going to go in and out by half inch from the center line I drew. From the center line I drew for my dart, I'm going to go in to the left by half inch and to the right by half inch, and then I'll be connecting it this way. So guys, after connecting it, I'll go ahead and stitch on it. So this is what it looks like. I'm done stitching on my dart, and I went ahead to pin my zipper allowance. I didn't sew on it because I'm going to be adding my zip later. So this is what my overlap looks like. So guys, to top stitch on your overlap, you're going to bend your overlap one side. You can see the way mine is. You're going to shift it to one side. Then from where your curve started, you're going to measure 3 inches upwards. From where your curve started, you're going to measure 3 inches. So I measured 3 inches on it, and then I'm going to be measuring the side by 2 inches. That is where I'm going to sew the triangle form. I'm going to be measuring it, the width from the center of the skirt. I'm going to be measuring 2 inches inwards. So guys, I'll go ahead and connect with my ruler to form a triangle form. You can see how I'm doing it. If you want yours to be wider, you can make it 2.5 or 3 inches. So I connect it with my ruler. Then I'll take it to my sewing machine and show you guys how to sew on it. So guys, remember, you're going to spread out your skirt on your machine this way, and then you start sewing from the up part where your 3 inches started. You sew from there to the down part, then you sew it all around to the triangle shape that you made. So guys, after that, this is what my skirt looks like, and that would be the end of this tutorial. Please, if you like this video, give it a thumbs up and don't forget to subscribe. See you in my next video. Bye.